the beauty industry is becoming a lot like fast fashion. Like there's so many new launches. It's so overwhelming. So for us, we wanted to challenge the industry to see if a business can still grow without needing to launch new products. So we kind of experimented in a way. So in 2020, when we decided not to launch products, we kind of tracked our growth. And it turns out from 2020 to 2021, we grew 250% year over year. Yeah.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to It Takes a Village to Raise an Entrepreneur. I'm your host, Delina, and on this show, we talk to creative entrepreneurs about industry business strategy. So this episode, we're talking to Liah Yu. Liah is incredible. She's a content creator, very successful content creator. She's a brand owner, a very successful brand, and she's also an investor. So Liah started her career on YouTube. She currently has over 1 million followers. I believe it's 1.2 the last time I checked. So she's done well. She's done really well as an influencer. And while creating an incredibly successful YouTube channel, she also created a brand. The brand is called KraveBeauty. That's Krave Beauty. And it is incredible. And I don't say that lightly. I have incredibly sensitive skin. Those of you who have followed me for years know that. And if I were to suggest one product, I mean, all of them have been incredible, but I will tell you that Makeup Rewind, which is incredible at getting all of the makeup products off of your face before you actually use a cleanser, or you can use it as a cleanser too. But we talk about more of those products and things like that in the actual episode. But it's quality. And at the core of her core values include sustainability. And sustainability is a hot word for a lot of people. And a lot of people want it involved because it will come up on the keyword search. It's different for Liah though. It's at the core of how she creates. It's at the core of the events that she puts together. And it is at the core of the investment firm that she also has. So we talk about becoming a venture capitalist and her firm that she has, what types of people, what types of businesses she's looking to collaborate with in the future, and what types of businesses they currently are representing, how to pitch a venture capitalist, and what exactly they're looking for specifically for their company. So what I think you'll really gather from this conversation, of course, I leave it up to you to experience it and interpret it and get exactly what it is that you feel that your soul needs. But I believe that when we think about people having influence and having influence over people, a lot of times it's about how you can showcase a product to someone else's product to your community. When you start to create your own product, sometimes things change. And I think in this episode, you can see how she's kept community at the core of what she did as she continued to develop this product line. We also talk about developing the product line while she was still living in Korea. She's currently in New York, and that's actually where we met. But I am so excited about this episode. I mean, I'm excited about every episode, but this episode, I feel you all, if you are looking to understand influencing as a business, running a brand as somebody who has already established influence, I feel like you're going to find so much value in this. And thank you for being here. And with that, let's get into the episode. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Hi, Liah.
Hello.
Hello. Okay. So when I was looking at your trajectory in terms of like creating
Trajectory.
creating KraveBeauty. Yeah. When you first started, you were doing YouTube. Did you know that you wanted to make a product when you first started?
Not at all.
Yeah?
Not at all. Yeah.
Okay. So when you first started on YouTube, what was the like thought? What inspired you to do it?
I was really bored at school. It was my senior year in college, and then I was studying architecture, interior design, and then I knew that I wasn't going into that field after graduating. So I was kind of looking around and observing the world. And at the time, K-pop was having its moment internationally, and a lot of people were really curious about how Koreans get their skin so good, like how youthful they look, like what type of makeup product they use, skincare product they use. And I was living in Korea at the time, so I thought maybe I should just review the Korean skincare products or Korean beauty products on YouTube. So that's how I started.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So you were studying and you were living in Korea at that time. Where were you? In Seoul?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I've been to Seoul once.
No way.
Yeah.
When was that?
It was really cool. I went like maybe, I think now it's like 5-6 years ago. I had a great time.
Really? Yeah.
Food was good.
Yeah.
Everybody's so stylish.
They are.
Oh my gosh. I was like, wow, I need to get my style together.
You're very put together.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. So you were in school there and you were studying, you said interior design.
Yeah.
And then what was the other thing?
Architecture.
Yeah. Wait, that's a big pivot.
It is a big pivot.
Yeah.
So after graduating my college, I actually got my first job in the beauty industry.
Okay.
So I was working for Amore Pacific, which is another beauty conglomerate based in Korea. So yes, I was working for a beauty company. So that was my first job.
I didn't know Amore Pacific was Korean.
It is Korean, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay, so you were there and you were studying, and then you were like, okay, I'm going to make, I was about to say music videos.
Music videos? I wish.
Right, okay.
No talents.
Right. Okay, so then you started studying or sharing the information. Was it always, because now I see that your videos are very like informational.
Yeah.
Have they always been like that?
Not at all.
Okay.
It was just like a young college kid trying to, I don't know, share her passion and share her hobby with the internet. And I felt that as an introvert, I felt much easier to connect with like online anonymous people rather than sharing that with my family or like my in real life friends for some reason. So internet was my friend in a way.
Nice. Was it secret? Like, did you tell anybody you did it?
No, it was a secret. Yeah.
It was?
Yeah.
Me too. Mine was a secret
Really?
too. Yeah. My first video, like my sister found it randomly and she was like,
What was it? What was the first video?
Actually, it was funny. It's about skincare. It was secrets to clear skin.
I need to know the tips. Can you send me that video? Is it still live?
It is. It's still live. It's like a long time. I made it like a long time ago. But when I made the video, I was like, oh my gosh, like I just didn't want to tell anybody. Were you scared to tell people or was it just like?
Yes, I was very shy. Yeah.
Same.
I'm still pretty shy about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. I feel like the thing about being and creating stuff, sometimes I feel like you have this information that you want to share, but you're concerned about how people are going to like receive it. And then also like, I feel like back then nobody was making videos on the internet. Now it's like normal to see people like walking on the street with a phone up and being like, hey guys, da 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 da.
Yeah.
But do you make videos in public now? Ever? I still get scared.
Not really.
Yeah.
No, not really. I don't vlog as much as other YouTubers. Yeah.
Did you ever and you switched or?
No, I think it's not really in my DNA to like whip up the camera in the public to get all the attention. But I know New Yorkers really don't care, to be honest, because there are so many.
Yeah.
But for me, it's still like I need to get used to it. I need to mentally prepare if I need to film something outside.
Okay, so when you were doing like YouTube, did you ever get to a place where you were doing it full time?
Yes. So after working for Amore Pacific, the corporate job for 2.5 years, I quit my job and then I did YouTube full time for about 1.5 years until I started my company.
Okay. So during that time, were you doing like brand deals and things like that? Or were you just like, okay.
Yes.
How was that? That was like the height of it, I think.
Yeah.
Those years, right?
Yeah. So that was maybe 2016. And then I launched my business in 2017 December. So about like a year and a half or 2 years. Actually, the first year I didn't really have any income coming in because I didn't quit my job because I had so much money coming in from the other revenue stream that I had, which is YouTube.
Okay.
I just quit my job because I felt like YouTube is like now or never. It's kind of gaining its momentum, but my subscriber was probably around like 130,000 subscribership at the time when I quit. So it wasn't a huge amount of people to appeal to brands. And I think at the time, especially in Korea, influencer marketing was something that was so relatively new and it was trying to get its traction. So I didn't really have any income for a year and I had to live off my savings. I lived with my parents and I just actually cut out my social life because I was kind of embarrassed that I wasn't making my own money. But after a year, things started to get better.
Okay, so, all right, a couple things. Because now you're at like over 1 million followers on YouTube. So when you quit, you were at 130.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you know it was going to happen like that?
Not at all. But I wished for it. And it was my goal to hit 1 million subscriber.
Okay, set intention. Yes. Check. Okay, cool. So you didn't have a social life. That is something that I can very much relate to. Was that hard to cut out?
Not really, because I was really embarrassed about what I do. And I was really embarrassed at the fact that I left the very cushy job and a very highly coveted job. And then doing this full time, being self-employed, but not really making any income like that. I was I think I was self-sabotaging a lot to the point where I didn't feel the need to interact with any other human beings.
That's relatable. I understand that. Okay, so now how do you feel?
I have a social life. I'm talking to you, apparently.
Yeah. That's true.
Yes, so I feel very proud of the hard work that I put in.
Do you think, when do you think that switched? Was it when you started to actually gain success, or do you think that in that year and a half, do you feel like there was something inside of you that was like, ooh, I feel good now?
It definitely came with the amount of subscribers, I think.
Okay.
I think once you hit a certain amount of threshold for subscribers, which for me, that was 1 million subscribers, it is in a way like a free pass to a lot of opportunities. And I think at that point, people come to you, not necessarily you need to go out there and like pitch yourself to other people. But I think you kind of be in a position where the opportunities just come to you. And I think that's when I felt a little bit good that, if you put your head down and you create good content and create value for your subscribers, for your audience, good things will come. And I think that's what happened.
That's cool. Would you say that you moving when did you move to the States?
2018.
2018. Okay, so after you launched Krave.
Yes.
I didn't realize that.
Yes.
For some reason, I thought you were here when you launched.
Almost. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you had an intention to come though? You thought you would for sure?
Yeah. New York was my dream. So I had in my life bucket list, I had New York by 30 and on the top of the list. And then when I was studying interior design in college, we had a design field trip in New York City. That was 2009. And then it completely opened my eyes to what is possible on the other side of the world, because as soon as I landed here, I felt like I was home for some weird reason. I think I really love the diverse energy, and there's like different people coming from different backgrounds and different upbringing with different dreams. I think that was really, really attractive. Yeah. And I wanted to be surrounded by those kind of multicultural backgrounded people. And I wanted to play in the bigger pond than being in a small pond, which I felt like I was when I was growing up in Korea. So that's when I started dreaming about coming to New York, and I made it happen in 2018.
That's dope. That's so cool.
Yeah.
So did you have help to like create your videos and stuff? Because being a full-time YouTuber is a lot.
It is a lot. So
was that your only platform, or did you have other platforms?
That was my only platform. Yeah.
Okay.
So it still is my main platform. Mm-hmm. And I didn't hire any editor until maybe 2018.
Wow.
Yeah. So I did everything.
You formulated the product, you got the product to sale, and you were doing full-time YouTube.
Yes.
Liah, no wonder why you didn't have a social life, but that sounds so intense.
Yeah. But now I do have an editor and other support system in the village.
Yeah,
yes.
Exactly. Okay, so finding an editor is tough though, because I'm sure you had a specific style in how you did.
Right.
Did you have to speak to a couple different types of people and try different people out, or do you feel like your editor immediately like got it?
I think it was fortunate because the editor who reached out to me, like I wasn't hiring at the time, but the editor reached out to me who was a longtime subscriber of my YouTube channel. So she already knew the style and like the way that I edit. So it definitely was a transition, but I think it was a more relatively smoother transition.
Yeah, no, that totally makes sense because I think about that all the time. Because YouTube to me, when I look at it, like even just as a creator, I think about the amount of time it is to set it up, to record, and then the edit and everything. I feel like, what would you say is the average amount of time that you spend on a video when you were doing it like by yourself?
So for me, the pre-production and the research phase took the longest time because it was about skincare education. And I wanted to make sure that everything that I share in the video is science-backed and evidence-backed and research-backed. So the research phase it kind of took maybe 2 weeks. For filming, I can film everything in like 2-3 hours. And then for editing, it will take maybe another day or two if I put my mind into it. But that's also a stretch. But yeah, for me, the research phase was definitely the longest.
Did you have help with that or that was just you?
That I did have 2 research assistants who's helping me research, who has like a dermatology background and a chemistry background.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
So then you knew it was like, okay, this is already fact checked and I don't have to worry about that. That's cool. It's also a lot of trust too, though.
It is.
You know, because then
but
you're
I
like,
trusted them more than I would trust myself because they have they have the expertise, they have the knowledge and the background, and I do not. So I'm here to kind of be the communicator and the educator in the screen. But with the research, I wanted to make sure that it is, fact-based.
Yeah. Okay, so first products, you're like, okay, I want to make a product. How did you know where to start? Because there's so many different things you can do in skincare.
Yeah, so when I started KraveBeauty, I wanted to make sure that I create products that just works with the skin instead of working against the skin, because at the time, I think the trend still is like high percentage of active ingredients, medical grade skincare, like dramatic instant fix, those kind of preachy before and after was something that I definitely didn't subscribe to and definitely didn't want to, join. And I wanted to make gentle products. So for me, because I had struggled with acne for about 5 to 6 years in my 20s, I wanted to make sure that making a gentle cleanser is something. I wanted to make sure that I make a gentle cleanser that is really great for acne-prone skin. Because if you have acne-prone skin, the biggest skincare mistake that I feel like you do is you just literally scrub your face. You wash your face like 5 times a day thinking that this is full of bacteria. I need to like scrub and rub everything off. But in fact, you really need to protect your skin barrier, which starts from choosing a gentle cleanser. So that was my very first product.
That's cool. Okay, so testing, what did that look like? Were you the main test person?
Of course, I was. I mean, at the time, like at that point, I tested maybe like 1,000 different products already because I was reviewing products for like a couple of years on my YouTube channel. So for me, I definitely felt good about the formulation in a couple of rounds, and then we launched it, I think within a year. So I was really happy with it.
Nice. Did you make it did you come up with this formula on your own, or were you like, okay, how does somebody do this? Like, how do you start? Like, if you're interested in creating something?
You definitely need to go to a formulation house or a lab who knows how to formulate for you. Okay. So what you go to them is a specific product brief, what the product is, who this product is for, what the main ingredients are, what sustainability facts that you want to include, and what type of key ingredient story that you want to have. So if you have that product brief, you go to the formulation house, and then the chemists and the formulators will formulate the product for you, and then it's like multiple steps of testing and iterations and prototype making until you get the right formula.
That's cool. So did you have anybody like quarterbacking that for you or helping you with that at all? Or were you like, you were speaking to the lab, it was just you?
So it was me. It was just me. But because I was working in a beauty industry, like I had connections.
Nice.
So I knew who to contact for the formulation, and you had to contact for like different types of formulations. So for me, I did have the right connection. But if if someone wants to start a business and they don't have any connections, I think the best way to go about it and starting is to go to all those like trade shows, because there are a lot of manufacturers, formulation houses, and like raw material suppliers that come to display and exhibit their formulations. And I think that's a good place to start.
Okay. So if you're starting and you're kind of, you're moving forward with your formula, you already know everything that is working, you know that everything has momentum, who's the first person you hire?
Ooh. I hired someone who can do literally everything. So someone who can be a copy and paste version of myself. So someone who can, do social media, customer service, know a lot of skincare products so they can do like the market research. And I think that person did a lot of things, like even placing the product order to the manufacturer, like placing the PO. I think that came from that person. So that was hiring a generalist who can mirror you would be the first hire for sure.
Okay, cool. So double the amount that you're actually able to produce by finding someone who's like you. That's hard though, Liah. How did you find this person? Were they a friend?
No, the person was also a subscriber.
Oh, wow. Okay, so your community really shows up for you. I love this.
Yeah, I love it. Her name was Rachel, and I still really, really think for her to like just take a leap of faith to just join this really small startup, because she was the first employee. I had no other people in my team besides her, but then she also had a full-time job. So she started as a part-time job, and then she, eventually converted into full-time job. And taking that leap of faith, I cannot thank enough.
Yeah, that's huge. So she was just like, I believe in you, Liah. Let's do this. And
I think so. Yeah.
That's so good. It's so nice to have somebody to like mirror your work. Okay, so after that, you're starting to get like this momentum. You moved to New York. How was like the transition of moving to New York? Were your manufacturers in Korea? Yeah. How was that?
So from that moment, I started building out a team in Korea.
Okay.
So that who can do the supply chain management and do like the vendor relationship instead on behalf of me. So I started with having the supply chain team. And because we were also selling our products in Korea, we also hired a Korean marketing manager who can do local marketing in Korea.
Nice.
So with that, I think the transition was relatively smooth for me to come to New York. And my focus was to, expand, establish the brand in the United States.
Okay, cool. You're self-funded, right?
Yes.
Wow. Liah, that's amazing.
Thank you.
So your following grew really with the creation of Krave. Like most of them know you for KraveBeauty. Or do you feel like it's like half-half?
I think half of the people started to know. I think half of the people knew KraveBeauty after I launched it because they were, watching my YouTube channel. I think half of the people knew me because of KraveBeauty.
Okay. Okay, cool. By the way, I love Makeup Rewind.
Thank you.
That's like one of my favorite things. It's just, it feels so like just the way that you created this cleanser. It's like, it's oil based?
It is oil based.
Okay. Yeah. It feels so good on the skin. And then the way it washes off, it's like you don't have any film left on the skin, because I've always liked oil to take off my makeup. But then I would be left with like that, if you just use just a like plain oil. Yeah. Then I would try and use like a little wash thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like a
cloth.
Yeah, like a cloth, or I would use like a paper towel, and I'd wet it and then I would take it off and then I would use a cleanser. But with that, I don't have to.
Yeah, I love that.
Where was that in like the iterations of products? Was that like, because you did a gentle cleanser, was it an oil-based cleanser first or?
No, it was a water-based cleanser. So it was matcha hemp hydrating cleanser that I launched with.
Okay.
And then the Makeup Rewind was the most recent launch.
Okay.
Except for the sunscreen that's about to launch in a couple of days. So for Makeup Rewind, it was interesting because I myself love cleansing balms and cleansing oils.
Same.
But I feel like cleansing balms are amazing, but you have to twist the cap, you have to scoop your finger in, you have to melt the product, and then you have to like rub it in so that it melts your makeup. Yeah. So I felt like the entire process is a little bit too a bit of hassle for someone who is like living a really busy lifestyle and all they want to do is just lie down, like go to bed immediately. Mm-hmm. Whereas cleansing oil, I love how effective it is at removing makeup, but I feel like cleansing oil is like, they don't have that ritualistic aspect.
Yeah.
Like the sensorial experience is non-existent. Like the cleansing oil kind of like drips down your arm. So for me, I wanted to kind of marry the best of the two worlds into one to make a really hassle-free, stress-free makeup remover that you enjoy using because the sensorial experience is there, but also takes off your makeup really quickly, and then you can go to bed like without needing to contemplate, oh, should I remove my makeup tonight or not?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And it does feel like that because I found that even with just Makeup Rewind, I find that like I can put it on my skin, I can wash my face clean, and I still want to, double cleanse, but it takes off a lot of it.
Exactly.
Like all that waterproof makeup, all of the like long wear lip. I love a long wear lip. So yeah, it takes off all of that.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
It's good.
To know. Yeah.
It's really good.
Sometimes I don't even follow up with the matcha cleanser because sometimes like makeup rewind can be enough. Yeah, so I would just leave it at that.
Does it depend on how your skin's feeling? Do you kind of check in with that?
Yeah, because whenever I have like more drier and more sensitive skin days, I think that's when I wouldn't over cleanse. So I would just use Makeup Rewind, and then still it kind of leaves your skin pretty moisturized and hydrated. I didn't want to further cleanse that. So I would skip matcha cleanser.
Okay, cool. That's awesome. Okay, so how many products do you have in the line now?
Including the sunscreen, we have 7 products.
7 products. Okay. And I remember the first event I went to with you was the Waste Me Not, which I loved. By the way, that body wash is incredible.
Thank you. It's gone now.
I know. I was like,
it was a mess of product.
I'm so happy I got 2 because I still have 1 left and I'm like just like holding on to it, but I'm going to use it. I found that, I will tell you, I found that when I put it into like a loofah or like, like I use like this netted thing. It's like an African like scrub thing. So I use that and I find that a lot of times cleansers or like body washes stay in it.
Yeah.
But with this, it doesn't. It just like rinses out clean, which I like because sometimes, if that product just stays in it, then it starts to like, smell funny. And you're just like, never mind, let me just throw this away. And I find that I didn't have that issue with it.
Oh, cool.
So tell me about Waste Me Not, because I thought that was such a cool idea.
Yeah, I think when it comes to sustainability, people immediately think of the most wasteful part of the beauty industry is packaging, which is true. But sometimes like the waste problem goes beyond just packaging, which I think it's a lot of times behind the scenes, like behind the curtains in the manufacturing process, the production process. When you're developing a product, you have to run test productions, which we call it pilot production. And in the pilot production, you have to have like at least 500 units to see if this formula that we developed in the little lab can be scaled up to mass production. So the minimum unit is around like 500 or 1,000 units. And if that test production doesn't go well, or it didn't turn out to be in the texture that you wanted, then you run another test production. So you can see like how many units or how many, how much waste that gets generated behind the scenes in order for a product to launch. But this is not only, unique issue to the beauty industry, it's like unique. It's a common issue for any product businesses. I'm sure when Apple is making iPhone, they have like multiple different prototypes. Then what do you do with that? It goes to waste, right? So for us, we wanted to also, not only acknowledge the fact that we have generated this much waste to the customers, but we also wanted to educate the customers on what goes behind the scenes. So that's why we called the entire pop-up event that we did in New York City Waste Me Not, because we wanted to tell the people that the pilot production batch, the texture is not there, but the efficacy and the formula does still work as it's supposed to. So we started selling that at cost, and then that's why our matcha hemp body wash was created, because we were formulating the matcha hemp body wash. We were formulating the matcha hemp hydrating cleanser, which the production went like it flopped totally. Like it didn't come out to the texture that we wanted. So with that batch, we converted that and transformed into a body wash. So that's what Waste Me Not was.
Yeah. I saw there was an article in Fast Company, right? About that? Yeah. I thought that was really interesting how you talked about, it's like you had calculated how much you had lost that year was like 1.5 million or something.
Yeah. So if we calculated in the retail value,
Yeah.
it would be 1.5 million.
That's wild.
Yeah.
How do you feel in those moments? Are you like, oh my gosh, like what am I supposed to do? Like that pivot is wild. And I love that the story was on the body wash too, that you could read it. But how do you recover from that mentally, emotionally?
So for us, like when we encountered those kind of production issues, like we thought that, oh shit, not only did we, wasted so much money, but we also created so much waste. So it was the Waste Me Not campaign kind of started with a problem solving process. And I think if it was a typical beauty brand, like you wouldn't completely like expose what you did in behind the scenes, right? You don't necessarily need to. But for us, I felt that this was a really good educational moment. Like maybe we can, showcase what goes behind the scenes, and then I can make a YouTube video about it, and I can, calculate how much waste that we created in the retail value to kind of show the audience how much it actually costs or could cost in retail worth. So for that, I think it was like a good problem solving that the team came together to brainstorm to solve the issue.
Hey, thank you so much for watching this episode of It Takes a Village podcast. I'd like to invite you to do two things, and then I'll get you back into the episode. Number one, if you could go and leave us a 5-star review, leave us information about what you liked about the episode. And most importantly, this is something I'm going to incorporate into future episodes, is leave your questions, things that you want asked by these experts. I really want to make sure that you're getting exactly what you need to help move your business to the next level. Number two, if you can go over to ittakesavillagepod.com, that's pod.com, you can subscribe to our newsletter. So our newsletter has information about each episode coming out, show notes, details about the guest, and more. So go check that out as well. And with that, let's get back into the episode. So what does your team look like right now?
So we have about 12 employees, and then so that's only for KraveBeauty.
Okay.
And then in KraveBeauty, we have operations, finance, marketing, product development, sustainability.
Okay. Sustainability is its own section.
Yeah.
Wow. So it's that important to you, which is really cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And then you have, so the people that help you with the YouTube channel, are they considered part of the KraveBeauty team, or is it separate?
It's relatively separate. They collaborate when they need to, but relatively separate. So on the YouTube side, we have one editor on a freelance basis. And then I recently hired a creative director because I wanted to launch a media brand. I actually kind of got sick of just seeing my face on my YouTube channel because it's been over 10 years. I wanted to kind of change up the things. And this year I'm excited to also launch and rebrand my channel into something that's more bigger than myself, because it's been Liah You for the past 10 years. And I feel like I served my purpose on YouTube, and I wanted to, marshal all the resources so that we have a whole new media brand that helps people to consume more consciously. So we're gonna launch something very, very cool. So that's why I hired a creative director, and I hired an amazing producer and director editor who can do everything. Yeah.
That's so cool. What is your what do you think kept you consistent though for 10 years? I mean, you had the brand, so I think that that's helpful, but like 10 years of creating content pretty consistently and having a community, that's a long time.
It is a long time. I mean, you've been doing it for 10 years, no?
Yeah. No, I know. That's why I'm like, wow, how did you stay consistent? Because, at the same time, I was doing full-time makeup as well.
Yeah.
So it's like, and you were doing, and you were creating the brand. So I know the kind of toll it takes on you, in terms of like coming up with new ideas, but then also energy-wise. Like, it's a lot to show up and like to like have these conversations.
Yeah.
Do you feel like there was anything in particular that was like, oh, okay, this is why I want to keep doing it? Because for me, I think it's, when I see you, I think it's the research, the sharing, the education.
I think it's, I love content creation, to be honest.
Yeah.
And it's not about like, how many followers that I get or how many brands do I get to work with. It's genuinely the process of creating something on the internet that really excites me, and it kind of gives me the endorphins and like all the adrenaline rush that you get from doing what you genuinely really love doing. So for me, I love just seeing a problem and kind of researching more and digging deeper into the matter and synthesizing the information into an easily understandable and a more digestible language. And that's where I think my positioning kind of shines on YouTube,
Yeah,
because
I agree.
skincare can be very complicated. It is, at the end of the day, like chemistry and biology and dermatology. So if you don't have the right background, skincare can feel like it's very overwhelming. But for me, I think I'm the mediator of kind of conveying that information from all the research that we kind of consolidate.
Yeah, that's cool. I enjoy how much time you spend on it. Like even like even talking about like the specific ingredients and things like that. It's helpful to understand. Okay, so you said that you're gonna evolve the YouTube channel a little bit.
Yeah.
So are you gonna change the name of it? Like what does that look like?
Yeah, the name is still a secret.
Okay.
But basically I was kind of observing the world and seeing where like everyone is, and this Generation Z or like Generation Alpha, they want to vote with their dollars. They want to shop more sustainably, consciously, and ethically. But if you look at the top 10 brands that are consumed by Gen Z, it's like Shein, you know, like I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna drop the name, you know. So it's really hard for Gen Zs to. I think there's a huge gap right now where Gen Zs do have the desire to shop sustainably, but there's not really a lot of education or information to feed to them. So they don't know how to. They want to shop better, they want to consume better, but they don't know how to. So that's the content that I want to create, because I think when it comes to, you know, sustainability, it's not only about the packaging. You know, as I said, in the waste me not process, there's a lot that goes behind the scenes in the manufacturing process. But also if you're, you know, developing a cotton material, there's so much energy and so much resource that goes into creating the cotton material. So when you think about all the information that you really need to understand in order to shop more ethically, shop more sustainably, shop more consciously, it's a lot of information. So I want to go in there to help them to consume better. And that's why I hired a creative director. I have like big research team now whose major is in environmental science and sustainability and like biology and chemistry all together to understand this matter holistically. So the very first pilot episode that went up was rewinding petroleum jelly, Vaseline.
I saw that.
So basically a lot of people think that, because it's like petroleum, it's like fossil fuel, it's like environmentally terrible. But petroleum jelly, it comes from a byproduct of petroleum, and it's the beauty industry, or Vaseline, is not drilling down the oil to create more petroleum jelly. It comes from a waste of another industry. So in that case, how do you assess the environmental impact of petroleum jelly when if you don't use that as a petroleum jelly, then it will go into landfill or it'll pollute the environment more? So with that, I wanted to kind of paint a more holistic view of how to assess the environmental impact of a single product, starting from our everyday beauty product. But I want to definitely expand to like fashion, because I think there's so much to learn in the fashion industry, and food eventually. I think that's also a very important topic.
Yeah. Sustainability, it's interesting because you even said like I have a specific area of my team. What was the order of hiring people in these different areas? Like was sustainability one of the first, or how did you put it together?
So customer service was the first.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
So customer service, and then marketing, and then creative, operations, finance, and then sustainability came rather the last.
Okay.
I think it is because I love digging deeper into researching like how to make things more sustainable. But again, like when you have so much in your plate, you have to delegate. And I think that's when we needed to hire a sustainability person.
Yeah, that makes sense. So it was already a top of mind for you. So you were like, okay, I'm thinking about it. So I don't necessarily need somebody in that spot yet.
Yes.
Okay. Marketing. Can we talk about marketing? Because I think that is one of those things that separates like companies from being able to do well or not do well.
Yeah.
Because like if you... Did you find that was, aside from the investment into the product, it was the most that you had to put money towards? Because for me, marketing is like That's how you find out about the product, really.
Yeah.
Right?
I think so. It's interesting because we grew pretty organically because of, not only my channel, my community, but also the word of mouth that got organically created on the internet, like from TikTok and YouTube. So it wasn't until maybe 2021 we started spending money on marketing.
Wow. Okay, so it was
Yes.
all organic reach
Yeah.
before
So
that.
until 2021,
Nice.
it was all organic.
Okay.
And then we started kind of experimenting with paid social or, paid partnerships with influencers because I do want to like compensate the creators. So I think it was 2021 we started kind of brainstorming about how much do we allocate money into marketing budget. But before that, I think it was definitely the product and then creative photo shoots that took up the most money.
Okay,
Yeah.
got you. So it was creating things that were like enticing to look at. And people
Yeah.
were like, "Ooh, that's good." And then you were like, "Okay, that helped." Do you think that if you hadn't have had the YouTube channel, you think it would have looked differently?
Totally. I
Yeah.
mean, I wouldn't have started
The
the
company?
skincare brand in the first place.
Okay.
Yeah.
So where were you at followers? So you said you quit your job at 130. Do you remember where you were when you launched the brand?
330,000. I
Okay.
think.
Okay, cool. So majority of the following
Yeah.
came after the video that you put out.
Yeah.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that they know you for that.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So some people just know Liah, the influencer.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. And so you'll meet them and you'll be like, "Hey, yeah, I'm Liah." And you're like, "I own Crave." And they're like, "What?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that."
Yeah. Some people do not make that connection because I think I don't really explicitly endorse KraveBeauty on my YouTube channel. It's like petroleum jelly and like sunscreens and all the other products that I'm talking about. So sometimes if you missed the video that I talk about KraveBeauty, like people might not know.
Okay. What about TikTok and Instagram? How were those for you?
It's really hard because I'm a long form video YouTuber.
I love that too.
It's hard to reverse engineer and like catch someone's attention in 2 seconds. Like you really need to shout. And I feel like that's not really in my DNA or in my nature. So I love consuming TikTok videos and like watching them, but I can't, like, I have to think hard to make a TikTok video.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you have help with that? Is it helpful?
No.
No?
Yeah.
Man.
Because I think TikTok, you just need to be you.
You just need to
Yeah,
be you.
yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
It's hard.
I find that like I love long form as well. Like I mean even like long form
Podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
Your YouTube
right?
videos. Yeah.
I love them because I feel like I'm always looking to meet people
Yeah.
and know who they actually are. And I think that YouTube had, I feel like it's even having a resurgence right now, but I feel like especially in the time where you started in
2011.
2011. Okay. And at that point you were still you were making a lot of videos at that point?
Not really.
Okay.
Maybe one video every 2 months.
Okay. And then eventually it got to where? Like one every...
I tried, when I was at my peak,
Yeah.
I did one video a day.
Whoa, Liah.
That was like a very short period of time in my life. But when I was doing full time, I tried to do one video a week.
Okay, got it. And then did you have like a specific schedule with it?
No, I did not.
Okay.
I'm afraid of commitment.
Same.
Yes.
Congratulations on getting married, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you.
Speaking of commitment.
Yes.
Yes, that's so exciting. Okay, how did you find your person to do your wedding makeup? Because they did such a beautiful job.
Oh, yes, she did a beautiful job.
She did. You look great.
I wanted to bring you from New York to Hawaii to get my makeup done, but because I couldn't, I needed to look a makeup artist locally. So I started searching for Korean makeup artists in Hawaii.
Yeah.
So there was only like 2-3 people at most. So she was one of them.
Did you get to take time off afterward, or were you working the whole time? Okay.
Yeah, I got to take off time and did a whole family trip in Maui.
That's so nice. It's so good. How do you balance your personal life, like with work? Because, yeah.
I balance it pretty well.
You do?
Yeah.
Tell me, okay, what's the secret, Liah? Help us.
I get like 9 hours sleep. I have
Amazing.
like every dinner I'm meeting, like I'm catching up with my friends or I'm going on a date night with my husband. So I think the lifestyle change happened when I hired Andy,
Okay.
who is someone that I definitely wanted to kind of acknowledge more publicly. But he was hired as a director of finance, but he had so much knowledge in operations. So I expanded his role to finance and operations. But then he's so involved with the entire like beauty industry, the beauty TikTok. He knows everything inside out, from like new launches or like what people are saying on the Reddit and like on TikTok and Instagram. So I put him as a general manager. So general manager means you're basically managing everything generally in the business. So after he, became the general manager, I delegated a lot of responsibilities, especially first and foremost, people management, managing the team. So I don't need to be responsible for everyone's career growth. Andy is, and I need to focus on the macro market, like where the market is going, and I can contribute to the business in the best way that I can, which is through content or through creative or through marketing. So that's when I gained some time and freedom to have some sort of work-life balance.
Yeah. When did Andy come on?
2 years ago.
The way you're smiling, you're like, and my life changed
I love it.
forever.
I love it.
That's so cool.
I mean, I love everyone in the team, but I feel like because he's someone who took off the most responsibilities off my plate.
Yes.
I have to personally thank him for just making my life so much better.
Yeah. Talk to me about sleep, because I love sleep. I do.
I love sleep too.
I find it so important. Like it's like if I don't so I did an experiment earlier this year where I found out that like I need 8.5. Like I tried 8.
Yeah.
I tried 7.5.
Yeah.
I tried, I was just like, I was trying to go for the least amount I could get and still feel great.
Yeah.
And then when I got back the results of being like, well, it's not, by the way, this is a personal test.
Yeah.
This is just me waking up being like, I'm not in the mood for today.
Yeah.
So, but when I realized that I needed that much sleep, I was kind of like, oh man. Did you feel like that when you were like, I need 9 hours of sleep? Where you were like, oh no? Or were you like,
yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think because I also have like my kind of like health condition right now, I need more rest and physical restoration throughout the night. So I think 8 hours is not enough.
It's not enough. Yeah, no, I understand. I understand.
Yeah.
Do you think you're going to get a little bit more too now that feeling like there's stuff going on with health stuff? Or you're like, okay, let me add a little bit more, 9.5 maybe?
Yeah, I had 10 hours of sleep last night.
That's good. That's so good.
Yeah.
How do you know you have enough sleep? Because I have telltale signs, but what about for you? How do you know?
What do you have?
How do you, like, I have like these signs. Like, I feel like whenever I have enough sleep, I feel like I can move through the day a little bit easier.
Yeah.
I'm more calm. I don't get as much anxiety.
Yeah.
How do you know? How did you figure out that 9 was right?
I think it's like, how smooth can I wake up? Because like, how resistant are you at waking up?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's that. Like when I had 10 hours of sleep today, I was like, waking up was so easy.
Yeah, you're like, this is great.
Whereas if it was like 8 hours, I would still be like resistant to wake up.
Yeah. Do you have certain things? You mentioned that you had acne when you were younger. Did you do anything else besides skincare? Did you change anything that you were eating or anything?
I cut out dairy.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a big contributor to acne, I feel like. So I cut out dairy, and then I tried to eat more antioxidants and vitamin C.
Okay.
And then I also took supplements, actually. I took cod liver oil, I took zinc supplements, I took a lot of different like probiotics and stuff like that in order to help my skin. And I think it really helped.
Yeah.
It really helped.
I saw that you have a whole playlist on YouTube dedicated to acne.
Yes.
Yeah. Did you add a lot of that content when you were like really, you felt like you were going through it more?
Yes. So it was like 2015 or 2016, 2015 that I had pretty bad acne. And then at one point I was reviewing like high coverage foundation because I had acne. So that was like one of my kind of content programming that I did back in YouTube. But I think ever since I started trying to talk more or learn more about acne skin, that's when I pivoted my skincare content into like acne focused.
Yeah. If somebody wanted to like do what you're doing right now, do you think they would still be able to have the same trajectory, or do you think it was like specific to the time?
Oh, I think it might be even easier with TikTok.
Yeah.
I feel like with TikTok, you can really grow fast Whereas I think with YouTube, you have to, be really consistent. You need to have like good amount of quality content, but with also good quantity too, in order to be visible and be exposed to a lot of audience. But I think with TikTok, you can blow up overnight. And then if you have a good following and if you feel like you're providing good value to your audience, I think you can go into, having your own company and then maybe become a more successful business owner or entrepreneur than myself.
You know what you made me think of too is like when it comes to like platforms, when you said I specifically focused on YouTube, that was like a thought in my head where I was like, wow, I was like, are we spreading ourselves too thin? Do you ever think about that? Like people are like doing too many platforms. Do you think so? Okay.
100%.
Focus is important.
Yes. Yes. Having that one bullseye and just literally doubling down on it, I think is a success formula. But it is hard because you want to stay relevant. You want to be relevant as a content creator, as an influencer. So you want to be in every platform that a person is interacting with.
Right.
So I myself, still make a mistake by prior trying to do something on TikTok, which I know I'm not good at. But with the time that I spend on TikTok, I should probably make one more video on YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a really good thing because now that I think about it, I feel like I've been guilty of that because I didn't necessarily get momentum myself even like until like I feel because there are so many platforms, I think they do pull you.
Yeah.
I think it's just a real feeling.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you strategize for one and then just like hopefully if it worked on YouTube Shorts, it'll work there too? Or are you kind of like, are you thinking about other platforms when you create the long form? Or are you just like, no, this is my platform. This is the one that I'm going to focus on?
I mean, when I do upload a long form video on YouTube, I do have like maybe 2 or 3 shorts or TikTok videos that I try to edit it down so that I can just repurpose the content.
Yeah. I find that so interesting, the organic marketing thing. I mean, you figured it out, Liah, because it's like if you didn't have to invest technically into, like marketing until like 2021. What do you think was the biggest switch? Like, why do you think you decided to do it in 2021? Like, what was the driving factor for being like, okay, I think it's time for us to invest with this?
So I think with the organic momentum that we were getting, I wanted to try if I put in more dollars, if this will snowball. So it was almost kind of like experimentation. And then everyone, is doing paid social. Everyone's doing influencer marketing. So of course we wanted to kind of like first and foremost compensate the influencers that we were working with. And then with paid social, we wanted to try like if this is a good tool for us to like continue investing to see a good ROI or not.
Do you feel like it was effective? Like, do you feel like paid social works?
Not really.
Yeah.
Not really.
Okay. So it's best to really just try and learn your audience, grow your audience organically.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. That's it. I mean, I think that that's a question that a lot of people have.
Yeah.
Because it's like when it comes to putting money into it, you think that that's going to help speed things up.
Yeah. I think it probably helped in 2018.
Okay.
Like when Glossier was kind of becoming really big. And then there were other D2C brands like Casper and like Allbirds and all these like new D2C businesses that were coming out and like growing their momentum. They all grew by investing 40% of their revenue to Google and Facebook ads.
Wow.
So I think at one point, like there were a lot of talks in the venture capital community where they're taking equity of these businesses, but basically they're not really reinvesting to, like build a factory or like build like other verticals in the business. They're taking the venture capital's money to invest in Google and Facebook ads. So they were saying that venture capital is literally funding Google and Facebook because it's just literally going back to them. So yeah, I think then it was pretty effective to grow pretty fast with paid social. But I think after the iOS update with the privacy and like all the things that block the privacy, so I think that's when the paid social became really ineffective and expensive.
Ooh, that's good knowledge because I didn't even think about it like that. Okay, venture capitalist. You have a firm that you have started?
Yes.
Okay, so tell me about that because that's so cool.
Yeah, so with KraveBeauty, we are completely bootstrapped, self-funded. So we didn't take any outside money. And I think that was a really, really big privilege as a founder and as an entrepreneur, because if you do have any other shareholders in your cap table, you're kind of like strained, and you also need to keep reporting to them. And sometimes your investors want you to grow at like 500% year over year. And then that means you have to grow the product portfolio and launch like unnecessary products that you really don't feel like it's adding any value, but you do it because you have to grow at all costs. You have to grow quickly, and you have to also satisfy your investors. So for us, I didn't know, but it was a huge privilege for me to not have anyone to report to.
Okay, wait. Before you keep going, because I
Yeah.
love this, but I think that this is a really important point, because a lot of people think of, oh, I need to get an investor. So, okay, so you're saying it was, I mean, you were in a position to be able to not,
Yeah.
but do you think that that's why you were able to create this like sustainable?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Because in 2020, we announced that we're not launching any new products for the next 2 years. And we
Ooh.
didn't. But if we had an investor, that would never fly well. Like you probably would be called into the boardroom and then like have to explain yourself. But basically what I wanted to show back in 2020 was, because the beauty industry is becoming a lot like fast fashion. Like there's so many new launches. It's so overwhelming. So for us, we wanted to challenge the industry to see if a business can still grow without needing to launch new products. So we kind of experimented in a way. So in 2020, when we decided not to launch products, we kind of tracked our growth. And it turns out from 2020 to 2021, we grew 250% year over year.
Yeah,
So
I love it.
It was a really good example for us to say to other brands or other, venture capitalists who have like beauty companies in their portfolio, to say like, hey, you can still grow without adding new products. It's like something that we should also keep in mind, that when it comes to sustainability, reduce comes first before reuse or refill, and then recycle. So instead of you switching your packaging to recyclable packaging material, which is amazing, but you should probably think about the reduce aspect a little bit more. So that's what we did, and it was pretty successful. And I think that's what was possible because we didn't have any investors.
Okay, so then you created this venture capital firm, which is holding this idea of sustainability accountable, right?
Yeah. So basically,
Okay.
I wanted to give this privilege to other founders, because I see so many other colleagues, other beauty founders in the industry who wants to grow intentionally, but they can't because they have investors trying to like ask them to grow at all costs, invest more in paid social, invest more in like everything else, go into retailers because like that's what investors love. So I think I wanted to kind of gift that privilege, basically aka money, without any type of pressure or any type of kind of me giving them direction. Because if you founded a company, you're the biggest expert in your company. It makes no sense for any investors to say how they should run their business. So I wanted to come into the venture capital business to kind of change that. And we started funding some skincare brands, period care brand, but I'm more interested in funding B2B companies. So someone who's innovating their materials in the beauty space, like packaging material. And then we also recently invested in Bluebird, which is a climate carbon footprint measurement platform for consumer product company. So we're investing more in that.
You are currently D2C, right?
Yes.
Okay. So you're not in any stores. Is there a plan, do you think, possibly do that in the future? Or do you like the fact that you have that direct connection to your consumer?
It's difficult because D2C is amazing because you own the relationship with your customers, and also going back to the same kind of circumstance that you get in when you have an investor, when you have another retailer in your business, the retailer has a lot to say about your product portfolio, your product pipeline. So when there's retinol kind of promotion going on, they notify to all the brands that there's going to be a retinol promotion in like 2023 fall. Then you have to create a retinol product in order to, make it into the wall of the beauty retailers, right? So that said, the beauty retailers can hold so much influence in what type of products that you should create. And I really didn't want that. So that's why we said no to every single retailer offer and like proposals. And I think it's not the time yet, but really never say never.
Right.
If there is any beauty retailers or retailer that are like-minded and they give us like full authority and full agency to design our product portfolio and like grow intentionally, and if they are on board with that, I think that's when we can say yes. But so far, there hasn't been. Yeah.
Okay. If somebody's interested in pitching you, or how does somebody say, okay, Liah, I know that you have this venture capital firm, and I really want to work with you. How do they go about having that conversation with you?
Yeah. So they can send me their pitch deck to Liah@pressresetvc.com. So my email is publicly available on Press Reset Venture. Is it pressresetvc.com? I think it is.
I'll put it in the show notes. Don't worry.
It is pressresetvc.com. If you go to that website, we have all the emails that you need.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what are you looking for in that press kit?
High
level.
Someone who doesn't have an exit strategy, first and foremost.
Okay.
And then secondly, if someone is solving a real problem.
Yeah. Okay, cool. This is like excellent information. I just want to say thank you. Yeah, like you're so smart, Liah. And like, I mean, I already knew that just from having like, our brief conversations that we've had, but you really understand the market. And I feel like you said you had Andy come in and so that you could focus on this. Do you feel like you spend a lot of time consuming articles? Like, how do you stay fresh on what's happening?
YouTube, social media, TikTok. I mean, there's really, you don't need to even go to the like real retail stores. I feel like nowadays, you know what's trending from TikTok, you know what's trending on YouTube.
So you're listening to the consumers, basically. That's great. That's so cool. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
This is so good.
Thanks, Delina.
Thank you, Liah. Hey, you've gotten to the end of the episode, and thank you for listening. Thank you for being a part of the It Takes a Village podcast community. If you're looking for a way to help us grow, leave us a 5-star review wherever you listen to podcasts. Every review counts, and I read all of them. Also, if you're feeling like leaving some questions, things that you want to hear me answer or ask in the next couple episodes, please leave that there as well. So that way I can incorporate some of my favorites. And if somebody came to mind while you were listening to this episode, please hit the share button and invite them into the conversation. As always, show notes are available at ittakesavillagepod.com. That's pod.com. You can follow me at Delina Medhin. That's DeLinaMedhin. Lastly, I just want to say thank you for being patient with me. This is an episode that I'm so excited to release. Being able to talk to people about their village, being able to connect with you deeply about your own village is something that I hope will help take your business to the next level. And that's really what this whole thing is about. It's what's driving me to continue to have these conversations. Hopefully these conversations are resonating with you the way they're resonating with me. I'm having so many aha moments during this show. And I just want to say thank you. I want to say thank you for being here. Thank you for the reviews. Thank you for the subscribes, the likes, the comments, but even just listening. Just listening means so much to me. And with that, I'll see you in the next episode.